For years, we experienced the rise of social networks like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and many more. They all skyrocketed, but now something is changing. It turns out that young people are making the decision to leave social networks, and more people are ditching them altogether.
You won't believe this, but Mark Zuckerberg just confirmed that the era of social networks is over. Let me explain. During a hearing before the United States federal government, Zuckerberg confirmed that the percentage of time people spend consuming content from their friends on social networks has decreased over the past 2 years. On Facebook, it has fallen from 22% to 17%, and on Instagram, from 11% to 7%. The Facebook founder confirmed their platforms are no longer used as originally intended, to keep up with your friends' lives. But now they serve to discover and consume content related to your interests, regardless of whether you know the content creator or not. This transforms social media entirely.
Let's be honest, you've noticed it, I've noticed it, we've all noticed it. Fewer and fewer people are using social media, or at least they've stopped using it the way we used to, which was to connect with friends. I think time has put things in their place, and now the vast majority of people use social media to consume content. Yes, I think how we use social media has completely changed and evolved. From my view, there's a major resignation from social media, often called the Great Resignation. Look, are millennials tired of social media? Why is online life facing its biggest crisis yet? From my point of view, because instead of connecting us, it disconnects us. Because instead of living in the here and now, social media made people addicted to sharing their lives. Yes, to sharing where they went, what they did, when they did it, how they did it. This clearly started causing problems. I think that many people even started to look at other people's lives, the lives of their own friends, the lives of their own acquaintances, with jealousy. Why? Because people tend to share their best version on social media. On social media, it seems like everyone's life is perfect, it's wonderful, but the reality is that it's not like that. People have their own problems, however, they don't share them. So it's common for people to grab their phones, go on social media, and see how all their friends are, in quotes, succeeding. Spoiler, they're not. They're actually deep in debt, just succeeding in quotes. And so you're not achieving what you wanted, you're not achieving what you expected. And even though at first this maybe didn't matter that much, and it even created a certain addiction, as time went by, I think it became unsustainable. I think a lot of people started to get fed up with social media, that's how I see it. I think the vast majority of people are fed up, and I think this is a pretty widespread feeling, and I'm sure that the people who are watching me, many of you, almost certainly use your social media much less today than you did a couple of years ago, or 3, 4, 5 years ago. I'm almost sure of it. And this has happened naturally. I mean, people have gotten fed up, and little by little they've been leaving social media. However, some people have done this intentionally. They're called the disconnected.
It's a new trend known as the disconnected, where dozens of people have left social media and the constant use of the internet to break unhealthy attachment to these platforms and refocus on real life. These people, by their own choice, have decided to limit their use of the internet to very specific aspects.
And yes, people still use the internet for other purposes, for other goals. For example, I don't know, to check their bank account. I think it has evolved so much that now it's mostly used to consume content. I think the vast majority of people on the internet consume content. I even think that social networks like Facebook and Instagram have evolved to such a point that today people consume, well, videos from content creators, because there are content creators on Facebook. And even, for example, Reels, right? On Instagram, that kind of thing. I think that's the natural evolution of the vast majority of social networks. For example, on Reddit, people ask, is anyone else noticing more people leaving social networks? Maybe it's because I deleted my social networks a few months ago that I'm now noticing more people doing it too. Has anyone else noticed this happening more often? Is it just me noticing this? Or am I just more aware since I'm off social networks? No. I think we're all noticing it. The change is really obvious. Let's consider this. I'm 26, and at least 5 friends or acquaintances have deleted their social networks in the past 6 months. Everyone is tired of no attention span, constant depressive thoughts, and wishing life was more analog. Personally, I'm seeing an increase in people's awareness and intentions regarding phone use. Here they tell us, yes, I've noticed it too. More people seem fed up with social media, whether due to constant negativity, pressure, or its effect on mental health. Yeah, I think that's about right. Listen, I'm telling you, people aren't giving up on the internet. It's social media that's the issue. It's the fact that we share our lives on social media. That's what's changing. Here they tell us, I'm socially disconnected, but I still use social media to look at art and follow what I like. Exactly. People are always surprised when I say I'm not on Instagram or TikTok. I think fewer and fewer people are going to be surprised. Honestly, I think this is becoming much more common than people imagine. For me, not having social media is less about mental health now and more because I don't want to update random acquaintances about my life. People who shouldn't know my location, company, or activities. Very true. Yes, that's what's happening. For over a decade, people constantly shared life updates, and I think we were like that for many years. I think there was a point when everyone felt exhausted. Seriously, I think people are totally fed up with this, and yes, this has evolved to the point that nowadays I believe a huge percentage of people use social media exclusively to consume content. And look, not content from their friends, content from content creators, right? On Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. That's a natural evolution of social networks. In fact, they say, I'm thinking about leaving social media. You've probably heard this phrase recently, or even said it yourself. A feeling closely tied to the generation raised on the internet. The millennials who shared photos of their first parties on 20 as teens, those who once used Photoblog, then Vine, X, formerly Twitter, or Instagram, now want to leave online life behind. A study indicates that 3 out of 10 users in Spain have left a social network in the past year, and that the trend is on the rise. There will be more and more.
Very true. I totally agree. And look,
I believe this differs from the media's view because here they say, I'm considering leaving social networks. I think this doesn't work consciously, but rather it's something that just happens, right? Gradually. That you use social networks less and share less about your life each time. And suddenly you realize you've gone a week without sharing anything, then a month, then 2 months. And then suddenly you realize that you're almost gone from the internet and that there's no need to be constantly updating. Why share your life, your things, your projects? Why does everyone need to know? That's the question that many people ask themselves. But well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to know your opinion. Are you feeling the same way? Have you noticed that your acquaintances are sharing less and less on social media? Haven't you noticed that you share less and less yourself? That you post less and less? I don't know, please. I would really like to know what you think, what your opinions are in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, see you next time.